Hey everyone, Pastor Nathan here. We've been reading through Matthew's Gospel together, and today we're in Matthew chapter 11. There's just really two things that stand out in chapter 11 as important for us. I mean, it's all important. But as we're reading through this, there's a couple themes that begin to come out that Matthew is continuing to develop. The first thing is that there's going to be this incredible resistance to the gospel. We saw that in chapter 10, that he forewarned the disciples that this gospel thing was going to cause division. But we also then see in Matthew chapter 11 that even the Elijah who was to come, John the Baptizer, Jesus' cousin, even he has doubts in the midst of this. And in the midst of what Jesus is doing, in the midst of what he has been doing, because he's in prison at this time, and he's been imprisoned for his role in preparing the way for Jesus. And so he sends disciples to Jesus, and they come to Jesus and ask, are you the one, or should we wait for another? And Jesus says, look, here's what's happening, all the kingdom stuff that's going on. And at the end of the list he gives to John's disciples, he says, and the good news is preached to the poor. This is what we come back to continuously. What's the proof of the kingdom's work? Well, the proof of the kingdom's work is that we're bringing the good news to people, to spiritually impoverished and bankrupt individuals, including ourselves, when we continuously need to rehear the words that our Lord has for us in his word, the gospel good news that Jesus came to bring. And sometimes we lose sight of that, just as John the Baptizer lost sight of Jesus for a time because of the challenges that he faced in being imprisoned for bringing the kingdom. So that's the first thing. The second thing that we need to be aware of is in the midst of all of our work towards this and the struggles that we may have with bringing the good news and what that challenge brings for us, that is the pushback that we receive for bringing the good news. Jesus promises this. He says, come to me, all you who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. This isn't just for those who are burdened by trying to gain their way into heaven, earn their way into heaven through their own works. This is also for those who are wearied and burdened as they bring the good news, as you and I bring the good news. This is for the Christian as well, who needs to be able to go to Jesus and say, needs to take up that light yoke again and find the rest that he has promised to give. So I hope that's helpful for you as we continue reading through Matthew's Gospel. Next time we take up chapter 12. Take care.